Howdy, partners. This is Josh.
Brian.
And Thomas.
We're happy to have you along for the ride today for episode number 9 of Heritage Cycles Podcast. So saddle up and let's get rolling.
Well, thanks for joining us today. We have a special guest. Her name is Lisa Daris from TOSRV. So we're going to do a lot of talking about TOSRV for a long time. But first, what are we drinking? You just heard Josh say his lovely dark beer down.
Yeah. I'm drinking a Founders oatmeal stout. Nitro, yep. That's a unique thing that they're doing now.
Where's Founders?
Founders is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Just cracking up.
Perfect.
It's very good. It's actually I've had this beer plenty of times. It's one of my favorites.
I'm drinking the Hazy IPA from Brew Kettle Brewery in Strongsville, Ohio. It's very fruity and delicious.
And I have there's an R on this one, the Hefeweizen.
Okay.
Which is weird. It's normally Hefeweizen. It's
Did
freaking me out.
R on it?
On the menu, it says Hefeweizen, so I don't know, from Elevator, which is brewed locally in Columbus, Ohio here. What are you drinking, Lisa?
I also have the Nitro Stout. It's delicious.
Oh, yummy. And all provided by our lovely neighbors, Grove City Brewing Company, as always. Thanks to them. Go eat their food, drink their wine, drink their beer, tell them we said hi.
Yeah.
All right.
Today we'll be talking about TOSRV, Tour of the Scioto River Valley. So Lisa is the director.
Yeah.
So you're the head. Yeah. So we have Lisa along for the ride to us. Thanks, Lisa, for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks for having me here.
Sure. So what is TOSRV? I guess we'll start with that. Basic question.
We already said what it stood for, but
right.
Where do you go? What do you do?
Yeah. So TOSRV is the longest running bicycle tour in North America, as far as our research shows us. It started in 1962. A father and son team, Chuck and Greg Seipel, started riding down to Portsmouth on Mother's Day weekend, of all weekends, in 1962, and did it every year. And as the years went on, more and more people joined them, and they started this whole phenomenon. It was probably during a time when cycling was starting its kind of heyday in the 1960s, 1970s. And by the late 1980s, like early 1990s, 4,000 to 6,000 people rode this bicycling tour. Wow. It's not a race, just to clarify that. It's a tour, meaning there's a start where people can start anytime during the morning, and they head down to Portsmouth, Ohio, enjoy the festivities down there. And then the next day they turn around and do it all again in reverse.
Nice.
How many miles?
105 miles per day.
Wow.
Nothing to it.
2 centuries back to back.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
Challenge.
This is along the Scioto River, so it's relatively flat, right?
Yeah, it follows the valley. So there's a few little hills, but I mean we're talking pretty tame hills, especially, it's in Ohio, first of all, and then secondly, it does follow the river valley.
Moderate climbs here and there. Not too bad.
Yeah.
You need that to break up the monotony every once in a while on a long ride like that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful ride, though. Like you said, it kind of follows the river, very scenic. And this year, the route is a little different in the beginning because we have a new start location in Canal Winchester. In the past, it's started from the downtown Columbus State House, and we changed it up a little bit last year, and this year we're in Canal Winchester. So the first part of the tour is obviously coming from a different part of the state, and then it'll head over into Circleville, and then from Circleville down through Chillicothe, down to Portsmouth. It's going to follow the traditional route.
Cool. So how much does it cost?
Right now, it just went up, so thanks for having me on the show at this time, because it's $115 right now. But if for those of you who are listening who are already signed up, you probably got a much better deal. It starts out at $85 and then goes up to $95, and then that just changed a day ago.
Still,
as the race gets closer, the price goes up.
Right? It does. Right. It does.
We're getting pretty close too. So
yeah,
if you are coming, you
19 days
should
away.
Be nice. You should be training by now, which I am not.
You shouldn't be listening to podcasts. You should be riding your bike.
Right? Yeah, true.
You can do both.
This is for the people who aren't going.
No, you can still. There's still plenty of time to sign up and go. But $115 for sounds like a blast of a weekend. So that's not too shabby.
That covers your hotel or
it covers indoor sleeping arrangements.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just
Whatever you
leave it at that.
Yeah.
No, they're not bad. You get a shower. You get a warm place to sleep. There's a few souls out there who are camping too. So that's brave. And then we have 3 food stops each day. And our food this year comes from Lucky's Market. So it's going to be delicious and nutritious.
That's true.
We've got some good sponsors this year. Laura Bar, Abbott Labs has donated 3,000 energy bars called Zone Perfect. So everybody will be have their stomachs full along the way as much as they want to eat. There'll be plenty of food for everybody.
I'm going.
You can be my.
Can I just pay the money and get all the food?
You can do that.
I'll meet you guys there with a truck full of beer.
Well, okay. Well, that's going to be there too, right? At the end.
Yeah. So that's kind of a new thing this year. We're ending at a Brewdog Dog Tap location in Canal Winchester. And for the first time ever down in Portsmouth Brewery is greeting everybody at the TOSRV mural. So if you've never seen the murals that follow in Portsmouth, they're beautiful murals. And there's one that, shows the history of TOSRV. If you stop there on the way into Portsmouth, be sure to pick up a discount for eating that night at Portsmouth Brewery and get your picture taken to save those memories of TOSRV.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I think I've had a few beers from that Portsmouth brewery.
Mm-hmm.
Not too bad.
But yeah, there's beer involved.
Yeah,
that's always a good thing, right?
That's all you got to say.
And
you had me at beer.
And Brewdog has really come through at the Dog Tap location. Every person who finishes the entire ride, all 210 miles of it, they get a free Punk IPA.
Nice.
So
that's a good beer too.
Yeah,
I've had it a few times.
I like it.
How many people are signed up thus far?
Right around 800.
That's it?
And we're expecting, yeah, that's it. We're expecting around 1,000.
Cool. Okay. Well, maybe after this, you have 300 more. That's how many listeners.
6 more.
If you are interested in registering, you can just go to our website, TOSRV.org. And get yourself registered. If you have a team of 10 or more, that's called a mob. And we love our mobs. So the cool thing is if you have a mob that has a preference, for example, peanut M&Ms or whatever the mobs want, we try to make our mobs happy. So if you have a team of 10 or more, you can lock into the early discount rate of $85 no matter what day you sign up. So
I knew mobs were good.
Yeah, mobs are good.
Society tries to tell you mobs are bad, and I'm like, you know what? You've never been to TOSRV.
Exactly.
They got peanuts.
Yeah.
Peanut M&Ms.
Yeah.
Unless you have an allergy. Well, I guess it's not a mob, but it's another group, the Franklinton Cycle Works group, which I kind of joined in.
Yeah.
So we're going to be like a mobile mechanic group.
Right.
That's going to be somewhat organized and have tools along and be able. Stop that.
You said you were going to be organized.
I'm not organizing it, though. I'm just joining in. So, yeah, we're going to have tools with us and be able to help people with breakdowns along the way. Hopefully help with maybe drawing some attention from like medical groups if they need that type of attention. Yeah.
Franklinton Cycle Works is a great organization in Columbus. It's a co-op. They focus on teaching people. You can probably talk more about it, but we were really excited to partner with them, and you're going to be a part of their bike medic team that will be the roving mechanics. So all the riders, that's a lot of riders. You're going to have maybe 1 or 2 flats, maybe a few more. But
how many mechanics are on the team?
Maybe like 8.
Yeah,
or so?
I think we have about 8, and
1 per 100, huh?
Yeah.
Well, most of these people can kind of
do
take
most
care
themselves. Yeah.
of what they need.
You won't be changing their flats. You'll be fixing their derailleurs and adjusting their brakes and crap.
Who knows what we'll be getting into? But
maybe.
Well, there are also Bear Wheels has a couple vans out there that'll be helping with the big repairs, and they'll be able to come when people need them or set up along the way, I guess.
Right.
So that's brings up a question. Is this led by any kind of vehicles or doing any kind of
SAG?
Is there any SAG?
Yeah. So Bear Wheels will have, I think, 3 different vans, and I believe Franklinton Cycle Works will have 1 van. And so they'll be driving the route along with the roving mechanics that'll be on bike.
Perfect.
So the coverage is pretty good. And then we also have a Rescue 101 for any medical issues. Now, they may stop and just make sure the rider's okay, even if, they just have a mechanical issue, but they'll stop, check on you, and then they'll have a direct line to the mechanics. So they'll let them know, hey, you got this, whatever, flat, and they'll give the location. So it won't be long before someone would come and help. So
sure,
worry-free riding right there.
So I'll try not to ride too fast and get right at the end.
And then you get all the people.
Then I'll have to go back. Yeah. So I might end up putting like 500 miles in.
Sounds awesome.
Good luck.
We do have a different route this year for the first time ever.
Okay.
Drum roll. So it's always been riders ride north to south. On Saturday only, we're offering people in Portsmouth if they want to ride south and do what's called a one-day. So they'll ride to Chillicothe. They'll meet all the riders that are coming from the north. They'll be in the middle having lunch together, and then everyone will head down to Portsmouth, down to the south for the Saturday evening festivities. There's going to be a live band.
Who's that?
Mothman.
Named
Shout out
after
to
the
legend.
prophecies.
Yeah. The Legend of Mothman, which I had to educate myself on, actually.
Did you watch the Kevin Costner movie?
I did not watch that one, but I watched this creepy documentary a few weeks ago about Mothman.
Oh, was it good?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
And that's
Mothman.
There you go. The cue for the soundboard to come in.
Buttons. That'll be it.
Buttons. That kind of reminds me of, we were talking about the route. For some reason, I seem to remember that a few years ago there was like a Mighty 300 or not Mighty 400. Like some people would ride from Cincinnati to Columbus to Portsmouth and then back to Cincinnati. I guess that would be, 300?
Yeah, legend has it, sort of like the Mothman prophecies. Legend has it that there are riders that do that. No, they definitely do. I think, they come from all over the place, but they just get on their bikes the next day and just keep going. To whatever their plan is. I don't know their exact routes because I think there's several groups that do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look those guys up maybe if you want to go the extra.
Yeah, that sounds great.
100 miles.
I'm going to Google them right now.
So where do people generally come from, have you found? Like, is it mostly locals from Ohio, but I'm sure you see people from all over the country.
Yeah. So we have a guy that comes in, I believe, from Texas every year. And this is the craziest story. Like 30 some years ago, he was at a Bob Evans and he met a guy that had just ridden TOSRV, and the guy convinced him to ride it the next year. And they've been riding it for like 30, almost 40 years together
awesome.
now. Yeah. So everyone sort of has their TOSRV story, which is pretty cool. There's a book that I brought today for the listeners. It's called The Mighty TOSRV, and it was published by Greg and June Seipel on the 25th anniversary of the ride. And there's so many good stories in this, just about people's experiences. If you ride TOSRV, whether you're a first-time rider or a multi-year rider, you're gonna have stories of friendships you made, of especially challenging years. TOSRV is it's known for its bad weather. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'll just.
Well, you can prepare people.
Yeah, in full transparency, it will rain that weekend, and sometimes it will be windy. Last year, the riders lucked out. It was a nice little tailwind on the way back on Sunday with a bit of a misty rain to just cool them down. So everybody actually really liked it, even though I think the forecast of rain kept a lot of people thinking that it wasn't going to be a great ride. But the people that persevered and rode on Sunday, they said it was one of the best rides they had on TOSRV. But Yeah, there's some great stories in here.
Where do you get that?
Yeah, so interesting enough, there's only a few copies left of this in the world, but I've been talking to Greg Seipel, and I'm going to talk to him a little bit about maybe doing a reprint of this. Now, this was published back in 1986. Now with all the self-publishing technology that's out there, it might be time to maybe even update it, because we're on our 57th year this year. So
Sure.
it'd be great
Maybe
to
make a digital copy.
At least
right,
a digital, yeah.
exactly.
Hey, hear that,
Right.
Greg?
Greg,
Come on, Greg.
come on, Greg.
Yeah, he's probably going to listen to this,
Yeah,
Okay.
he should. We said his name enough.
right?
What are you thinking about, Thomas?
Didn't Saturday
Perpetual.
last year just downpour?
Last year?
Did you have to bring that up? Yeah, it did.
What are you? Like some kind of...
I'm the weatherman.
You got an
don't
almanac
remember that?
built-in almanac?
No, I just remember so many people, like, they were so not ready for it. Like, it was bad.
Well, we had people looking for rain jackets. In here,
Yeah,
because
we
it started at Grove City last year.
Yeah, we probably had 10 people come in and
They
ask
were
for
looking-
rain
and we're like,
jackets.
no, we don't stock rain jackets.
But it actually didn't start.
Unfortunately.
It didn't start raining till I'd say, it probably made people ride a little faster.
Yeah.
It didn't start raining until I'd say maybe 90% of the riders had made it to Portsmouth. Pick up your pace, guys. Come
Right.
Come
on.
on. Beat the
And you
got to
be
Beat the
prepared for that
rain.
type of thing. If you're going on a 2-day long tour, I mean, you should be pretty prepared for some wet conditions. And it's, I mean, like Thomas and I always say, it's not that bad to ride in the rain.
Nope.
It's actually kind of fun.
If you're not prepared, just enjoy it.
Right.
It's just 2 days.
You can only get so wet.
Right.
Quick question. Is there digital copies of those photos you have over there? Is that the only...
Some of these photos are on our website. And actually, another project that Greg Seipel and I have talked about is archiving and making sure all the old photos, like the ones you see on these are old postcards. Okay, so like this one says, in 1979, a bridge on the TOSRV route was demolished for replacement, forcing cyclists to dismount and walk across a temporary bridge provided by the highway department. So this is one of those
Memorable
stories.
moments,
Yeah, about TOSRV. But yeah, these pictures, a lot of them are on our website, and hopefully in the next year or so, we'll get many more of them digitized on there.
That's
Okay.
pretty neat. There are a lot on their website, a ton of pictures that you could just scroll through for days.
motivation right there, just seeing the people the stuff they were riding back in the day, making it through this ride, compared to what you're riding now is a walk in the park compared to what they were riding on.
Back then, I mean, some of these photos, you see the folks without helmets, and my heart stops a bit, but that's what was going on back then.
I picture, like, so if you're a cyclist and you have no friends, I guarantee if you go on one of these rides, you'll end up with 799.
Sure. At
For
least.
sure.
I
At
still have
least.
0.
Yeah,
You have to work.
haven't rode TOSRV.
One of our friendliest riders this year is his name's Tom Schneider, and he's a unicyclist. And,
wow.
Definitely a challenge for unicyclists to do 100 miles.
He's going to do it on his unicycle?
He is going to do it.
First time?
Yeah. And so he's been training a lot, and we posted on Facebook about a week ago about how he's doing. So everyone's kind of rooting for Tom
Yeah.
because that's a pretty big accomplishment to do.
I'm
the
trying not
whole-
to pass out thinking about it right now. Sorry, I'm getting dizzy.
Right.
I can't even ride a unicycle across the shop.
Me neither.
You'll see lots of interesting bikes. Some of the archive pictures that I've seen, the Columbus Dispatch ran a picture back in the day of, it was like 3 bikes, but they were like across, but they were all connected. I mean, it was just crazy stuff that people were trying.
That's safe.
Right. You'll see tandems, you'll see the big wheels out there. Those guys like to ride it. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. And then also people dress up. So if they have a mob that has a certain theme to it, a shout out to like the 6-pack. Wonder what they'll have on. But
Nothing. Showing their 6-packs.
right, maybe, right? But yeah, there's
Crunch powered bike.
Adena Healthcare. They've got a team going, so we thank them for their support.
We should have had a heritage mob.
You guys won't ride it.
It's not too late.
We don't
Brian.
have to be. We don't have to ride it. You
have to
just
be
get a
there.
mob. Let's just say we have one. Inspire you to make friends, so you can have a mob next year. Save some money. Wear an outfit.
So are people just like on regular bikes as well? Just like city hybrid type bikes, or
Yep.
most of the time just road
Huffies?
bikes?
Yep. There's mostly road bikes, but people on. I mean, we even have a few fat tire bikes. I mean, you
Sure.
know,
E-bikes.
Yeah. I don't know specifically of anyone being on an e-bike, but I'm guessing. So we have many folks who've been riding this 5 decades. They've been
So they could get an e-bike and not get made fun of, maybe.
probably,
Okay.
probably, yeah.
I want one.
No first time riders should be riding an e-bike, right? Not allowed.
No, they can. All bikes allowed.
Yeah, it's all good. We like any person. What's the first step in riding a bike? Get a bike. What's step number 2? Get on the bike.
Step 1 is go to Heritage. Step
Oh, yeah.
2 is
Thank
get
you.
a bike.
Thank you. Get a bike at Heritage.
Yes.
There we go. Speaking of bikes and community partners like yourselves, like Heritage, Yay Bikes is going to be handling our bike valet. So they will be at Brewdog's Dog Tap location. So the final finish, you go, you grab your luggage, you stash it in your car. Then you just ride another half mile. You can do it. Ride another half mile to Dog Tap, and there you'll be greeted by Yay Bikes. Yay Bikes is a great organization that advocates for changing the conditions of our world, really our environment, to make it more suitable for biking anywhere on roads. Everybody should feel comfortable being able to be on a bike and saying, "Hey, I can get there on a bike." And that's what they work with decision makers who can make those changes in our society. So we're excited to partner with them this year. They're going to be handling the bike valet, meaning you give them your bike, you get a number, you go in, you enjoy some brews, you drink your Punk IPA, and they're going to make sure your bike's secure. And when you come out, they'll hand you your bike again.
Yep, it's easy to deal
And
with.
if you're lucky, they might hand you someone else's, and it's better than yours.
Maybe.
Bonus.
Right.
No, they do a great job.
They would never make that mistake.
They do those valets all over town with different events, and they always do a great job with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do, amongst other things. They do all kinds of stuff around town for cyclists. So
Right.
thanks, Yay Bikes. Yay Bikes.
Yay bikes.
Yay.
So what do you think brings riders back to TOSRV? So the ones that have done it over year after year, or just done it once and they come back the next time. What do you think that thing is that brings them? If it's not, I guess it could be multiple things, but
Yeah, it's a lot. I think it's a lot of things for different people. I mean, like I mentioned, we do have cyclists who've been riding this ride for
Tradition, right?
Yeah, tradition is one of them. Some of them started doing it when they were 15 years old. I mean, last year we had a 14-year-old with his family who did the whole thing.
Whoa.
So, right, impressive. Also, it's a challenge. You feel like you really accomplished something when you finish it. It's early in the season. Not a lot of people can do a century 2 days in a row. And when you're done, you just kind of got to pat yourself on the back and say, well
Heck
done,
yeah.
right? And so next year, you kind of, I think, as soon as the weather breaks, which this year, whoa, that's been a little challenging, right?
telling us.
But every spring, people kind of consider TOSRV, a rite of passage or a rite of spring as they gear up for the season. If you can do TOSRV, this type of ride in May in Ohio, the rest of the season is going to be a piece of cake. I mean, I guess maybe if you're going to like Colorado or something, you're going to have to train up. But if you're going to mostly stick in the Midwest and East Coast, I mean, you're going to be a pretty solid rider if you're doing TOSRV in May. You're going to be confident in
You'll
your
be all right.
abilities. Yeah.
You're at least going to blast past everybody in your seasonal bike club. You're just going to fly past them.
Right. And, biking is easy to get into, especially with shops like yourselves. I mean, you guys have great selection here and lots of good accessories to keep people safe on the road. And I mean, people start riding, and I think they don't realize how easily it is to kind of make it, to really get, in a way, addicted to it. It's a lifestyle change for many people. I've heard stories and, so many stories from people who, whether they just felt unhealthy or they just weren't living their lives the way they wanted to, and cycling really changed that for them. So a lot of people who do TOSRV, it happened to them too. And so I think they keep coming back because it was, maybe the one event that they felt like, oh gosh, I can never do that. And then they trained and trained. And then one year they did it. And so they sort of have this, little soft spot in their heart for TOSRV. So they keep coming back every year. And the friendships too, people make, last a lifetime.
Sure.
For people who don't ride, I am, if you're just in average shape, I'm a firm believer you can hop on almost any bike and ride 20 miles.
Sure.
Day one.
I like to tell people to ride time limits.
Yeah.
Instead, like ride for an hour, and then don't put a length of a distance on that, because that can be intimidating. 20 miles might be intimidating.
It sounds
to somebody.
It sounds a lot,
sometimes.
but it's really not.
It's not that much, but
That's
it will sound like it. And so,
You got to get
if
people
you tell
to believe.
them to ride for an hour, an average person might ride, starting out 10 to 12 miles per hour. So, first ride 10 or 12 miles in that hour. That's great.
Yeah.
And step it up a notch, the next time. And it'll just get easier and more fun.
Just like everything else. Do it. The more you do it, funner and easier it gets.
I think they say it doesn't get easier; you just get faster.
Just get fat. Well,
Great.
it just depends on what you're trying to do.
Greg LeMond said that. He's a racer, so.
For me, it just gets easier because I don't give a shit about going faster.
Well, I think it'd be kind of fun this year to bring back a tradition. Just before I got here, I was reading through. So here's a little gem of a story. In 1965, the mayor of Columbus sent a gift with the riders down to Portsmouth. And indicative of what 1965 was probably about, he sent an ashtray, which just
nice.
cracks me up, right? Because you're like on a bike, you're all healthy, but back then I'm sure people were smoking.
They used to smoke along the Tour de France.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Putting doobies in their handlebars.
Yeah. They thought it.
Think of that.
They thought it helped their lung capacity.
Right, especially the menthol. I love looking at the old menthol cigarettes because those are the ones that cleaned your lungs,
Sure,
right?
Yeah, with the
Freshen yet.
Fiberglass.
fiberglass. Scrapes it right clean there for you.
There you go.
Tasty.
So you're going to try to bring that back?
I
Maybe
would.
make it just another ashtray. Make it gold. Just be something.
Gold.
Wouldn't use it. It would just be the tray, the TOSRV.
Maybe we could track it
the
down.
the toss serving tray.
I wonder if we could
Something.
track that one ashtray down.
Just get a pack of Camels.
It's out there somewhere.
A carton of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Deliver it to the mayor. No?
Yeah.
No?
Get there?
Yeah,
No?
I don't know where to go with this one, but I was thinking of something more like since we're starting in Canal Winchester, something Canal Winchester could say, hey, this is part of our heritage. I mean, you guys being Heritage Cycles. I mean,
Sure.
be something that Canal Winchester could sort of give, and Portsmouth. I'm gonna up the ante. Yeah, Portsmouth needs to give something back too. So
You hear that,
maybe a
Portsmouth?
Nice little exchange. Come
Yeah.
on, guys. Let's
No ashtrays.
no ashtray. I don't
Ashtray's
know.
forbidden.
You guys seem to like the ashtray idea.
Maybe
that
though,
is
so
pretty
I
cool.
don't
Maybe a
know.
vape pen.
Nice. I knew that was. How did I know this was going there next? Keeping the lungs clear.
You gotta
Engraved.
You gotta grow with the times. Now it's time to vape. You don't need an ashtray.
You're right.
Time to get that popcorn lung.
I don't know what that is.
So where can you get merchandise and stuff? Do you guys
Yeah.
have shirts and?
Yeah, so we've got shirts and jerseys, and we brought back the patch. So the patch.
Nicotine patch with the ashtray?
The patch is an iron-on patch this year.
Oh, cool.
And we had a volunteer come forth and say, we must have the patch back. And the patches for these types of rides have been around for a long time. And so we brought back a really cool-looking patch. It says TOSRV 57 on it. You can purchase all those items at TOSRV.org.
And we'll have a link to all that, of course.
Yeah.
And that's where you can sign up and
Can
find.
register. And of course, if you're interested in volunteering, we can always use more volunteers.
There you go. If you can't ride, volunteer.
Yeah, hand out Laura bars and brews
And
or
eat 'em
something.
all.
Sure. I'm sure you can have a couple yourself.
I wanted to mention one of our sponsors that are handling the Chillicothe food stop this year, and that's the Buck 50. They're a great group in Chillicothe. They just held a race back in mid-April, and their focus is on getting a lot of youth involved in running and biking. And they're also associated with Drug-Free Clubs of America. If you're from Ohio or really any part of the United States right now, you know that the opioid crisis is really a big problem for many parts of the state of Ohio. And this group, we're really happy to be partnering with them. They're going to be providing lots of the kids that are going to be in the Chillicothe food stop, handing you your fried chicken or your Gatorade. They're part of this group, so make sure you thank that group. And the organization is really making a difference down in Ross and Scioto County area.
Is there an age limit? Have you set one?
For TOSRV?
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. Is there anyone bringing have you seen trailers with kids in or anything like that?
Yeah, so kids under 3, I guess, is the age limit. You can't have a kid under 3 years old.
Okay.
That's probably about the safe limit to have a kid in a trailer anyway.
Yeah, for that long, yeah.
Right.
No one back there to...
Yeah, that's probably torture for a
Yeah,
kid.
that's your own choice. But I just didn't know if you'd seen,
All day,
someone
2 days.
out there with a kid trailer pulling their kids back there while they're
So is there a youngest that you've had?
14.
Probably
Is that the
about
youngest?
3.
Last year we had a 14-year-old. I'll tell you, our oldest last year was over 80.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we have a couple people that are approaching 80 or just on the cusp of it.
Sure.
If you're between the ages of 14 and 80, you can do this.
Yeah, or
Yes,
even
you can.
older. Hey, beat that record. Go to 90. Come on.
Yeah.
You can do it, old guy.
I just
Old
saw a
lady.
video of
Old
a
lady.
106-year-old guy on a bike.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
On a velodrome.
Yeah.
Is that the thing?
The
Yeah.
French guy.
Yeah.
Good for
That's
him,
cool.
right? I hope when I'm 106, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
I won't make it there.
Yeah, you will. You outlive all of us.
I mean, if you
Riding
can,
a
if you
bike.
can bike when you're that age, I always said, well, I don't want to live past, if I can't walk or I can't, stand up. But if you can do that when you're 106, hell yeah.
Sure.
Beep.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
No, we're messing around. So Lisa, you're kind of all over the place though in Central Ohio. You wear many hats. So
I do.
you
yeah.
have a canoe.
Canoe and kayak business.
Yes.
Olentangy
Which is called-
paddle.
Okay.
Right.
So where can people find that? What do you do there?
So we, in Ohio, especially Central Ohio, we go where the water goes. So
Nice.
we run mostly on the Scioto, even though our name's Olentangy. We love the Olentangy, but the Olentangy can be very finicky. This time of year, we can run it. Our opening weekend is this weekend, actually, and we're going to be running probably the Olentangy as well as in Dublin on the Scioto, and then we also run downtown Columbus on the Scioto.
Cool. And you do like a drop off and a pickup, right?
We do not pick up people, but we rent bikes so they can bike back to where the
Okay.
launch site is. So you can make kind of a whole day of it, right? You can float down the river, and then most of the waterways, we're lucky enough in Central Ohio, most of the waterways have a bike trail that follows them.
Not bad.
So you pick up a bike, you're back at your car in about half hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah, we might have to work something out. We
Let's
might
do
have
it.
to work out
What time is it?
an event.
Right now.
What time is
I'm
it?
not kidding.
I know. That sounds like a blast, actually.
8:23.
Well, I
We,
knew that.
we attempted to do that last year, but the water was too high. So we tried to go down here to Trapper John's, our local livery, and
Yeah.
the water was just too high, so they had to turn away like 30 riders.
Yeah, we all got on our bikes. We all,
Put
it
our
was
heads
like
down.
30
Yeah,
people rode all the way
disappointed.
there.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
our biggest ride.
And it was such a beautiful day. It was like so sunny and warm out, and we didn't. It was just, and it didn't even rain here, did it? It rained up
The night
north.
Up north, yeah.
Yeah, so we had no idea. We were just like, nope, thumbs down.
Yeah, it's a tricky
Buzzkill.
business, but it's
I bet.
fun. You can
Sure.
you can look out your window and think, oh, it's a great day to go kayaking, and then you look at the river and you go, oh, heck no.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If you've gone when it's not so ideal, then
Right.
you don't want to go that second time because that's not so fun. Unless you're a trained professional like Brian.
I am. That's right.
I'm the executive coordinator for the Ohio to Erie Trail, which is a nonprofit started in 1991 that has built a 326-mile, almost finished trail. There are about 40 miles that are still on roadway, and it starts on one end of the state and ends in the other. So you can go Cincinnati up to Cleveland. You'll come through Columbus, or you can do the opposite.
Yeah, you can do that thing where people dip their tire in one body of water and
You
then
got
go
it.
on the other side of the state and dip your
Other
tire
tire.
in the other.
Yeah.
Brian doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Me neither.
It's
You never seen that?
tradition.
That's what you do.
It's like tradition. So wherever you start, like I started last year at the Ohio River. So I went down to the river, I backed my bike up, and then I headed north. And 6 days later, I dipped my front tire in Lake Erie.
Yeah. And her rear tire was still wet the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
That's how fast I was in 6 days. Yeah. But it's awesome. It's a great trail. There's plenty of places to stay, lodging, campsites. Of course, you go through big urban centers like Columbus, but then you also get to see, the revival of some of the smaller towns, like Mount Vernon, for example, is a great town to stay in. And you go through Amish country, through Millersburg.
Yeah, you
Fantastic.
even get to see some horses on the trail.
You do. You get to
That's
see the
pretty cool.
buggies. Yeah, they share the trail in Holmes County area.
The local guy here runs the
Ohio Trail Shuttle.
Ohio Trail Shuttle. Whoa. Where'd he come up with that name? So, yeah, he'll pick you up or drop you off anywhere along the trail and your bikes as well, and make it a little bit easier for you if you want to just go one way. So that's kind of a cool little...
Do you know how that works? Is it just like you just let them know a couple days ahead of time?
Yeah, you have to schedule it out.
Alright.
You just contact them. I don't know if there's a contact.
Sure there is.
Yeah,
the-
it's on his card over there. It's probably on Facebook, too.
Yeah,
Right over
he is on Facebook, and if you just go to ohiotrailshuttle.com, his phone number's on there. And you do have to schedule out because he's getting pretty busy. I know he's got like 11 riders that he's shuttling in the month of May.
Oh, sweet. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so
You're like, we don't need it anymore.
Yeah, ohiotrailshuttle.com. It's pretty easy.
Confirmed.
Or info at Ohio Trail Shuttle.
yeah, it's
.com.
it's a really great service. People from all over the world actually are starting to come to this trail. It's amazing. The trail guides that have all the mileage and show you where hotels and camping are, those have gone out to over like 30 some states, 3 different countries. And so people are finding out about it because it is one of the longest paved trails, I believe, in the world. We're doing some research on it right now. I mean, you've got the Gap and the C&O Trail. People love those. They're also crushed limestone, which has its drawbacks. The Ohio to Erie Trail is almost all paved. There's a little bit of crushed limestone when you go through the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. But other than that, it's an easy ride. You can ride a hybrid. I ride my hybrid on it.
Well, cool. Yeah, yep. As you can hear, Lisa is all over the place with outdoor activities, and she's making it great for everybody. So, thanks for doing all that, and thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah,
And
thanks for having me.
yeah, it's been
Fun.
awesome.
It's been fun to
We'll
hang
do
out
this
with you
again
guys.
next year. So put it on the calendar.
I'll do it.
You
May
gotta,
first.
She's like, my calendar.
I'm waiting for her to agree on air.
I know. There was a pause, right? I was like,
Now sign this right here.
I know. I was like, does he mean it? Nah, you guys are fun and great, and thanks for being a part of Franklinton Cycle Works. It's
Sure.
great organization too.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. We agree. We like to give them bikes and stuff and help out when we can.
And the fantastic job you did with getting a rider that had been hit by a car, getting her back. I just read your article. That was great.
Yeah, that was our friend Heather. She got hit by a car recently and got put in the hospital, broken back. She recovered after a couple months, and she needed minor repairs on her bike, her commuting bike, which just needed a rear wheel replaced, and I guess just maybe like a basic tune-up, I guess. But
Just
yeah.
straighten out the
the fender,
fender stays. That was about it.
that was it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they're
not much,
nuts.
but yeah, we went ahead and helped her out. After all she had been through, we decided that it would be, she doesn't need a bicycle bill. She can. We gave her a
Enough
get well
bills.
gift.
Aw,
So
that was very nice though. I mean, the biking community is just, if you're part of it, you run
You get
into, you get it, and that's great that you guys are doing stuff like that.
Sure. Thanks.
All right, guys. Well, there you have it. TOSRV,
TOSRV. Let's do it.
kayaking,
Riding across the Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, you've covered outdoors, all the things you need to do outdoors.
Right.
But mainly TOSRV. Sign up right now today, as you're hearing this. Even if it's over, sign up anyway.
Sign up for
Sign up for
next
next year. There you go.
Sign
Yeah.
up for next year.
Then
never over.
When then you commit yourself, you got to do it.
Yep.
Just sign up.
Yep.
All right.
If you need help, contact us at the shop here, and we'll help you train. Thomas will for sure.
We ride every Wednesday.
Yep.
Train all year. 52 weeks a year.
That's right.
Boom. All right. Thanks, guys. We're out of here. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Heck yeah.